Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for Volunteer University. These sessions are geared for volunteers, truly to get a behind the scenes look at some of our programs and different services that we offer at SJPL. Because we have 25 locations and many, many units, there's always fun and interesting things that we can learn about what's going on at the library. And truly, these workshops are for you to continue a strong library ambassadorship in your role as a volunteer. So I do want to thank you today for joining us. I know it's 6 p.m. Hopefully, this feels comfortable. You can grab some snacks, just take in all the information from our presenter today. Yeah, and so without further ado, I'd like to introduce Michelle, who will lead today's session on Teens Reach, Get to Know Your Youth Advocates. All yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carolina, for having me. And thank you to Volunteer Services for having such a great presentation series. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for our current volunteers to get, like she said, a behind the scenes kind of look into some of our programs and services that we offer so that you as volunteers can continue to be advocates for the library as you do your work with us. I'm going to start my presentation. I'm going to share my screen and we'll go from there. All right, you should see this. I'm going to present and hopefully it'll work like I had practiced. We shall see. And I'm going to swap this around so I'm staring in the right direction as I look at my notes. Beautiful. Okay. And if you have any questions as I present, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm going to have Carolina watch the chat while I talk, and I can address your questions as I get to the very end. So I appreciate your patience with my questions. And hopefully, as you think of them, it's always good to write them down anyway. And if we end up answering them along the way, that's really great too. So let me go ahead and get started. So as Carolina said, this presentation is going to be about Teens Reach, getting to know your youth advocates. Um, thank you again for having me. I am very excited to dive right in. So first, before I talk about what Teens Reach is, has anyone here heard of San Jose Public Library's Teens Reach program? Maybe a show of hands, or you can put that in the chat.
There's also, yeah, there you go, some thumbs up that you can
Yeah.
use. I know there's some tools at the bottom.
Awesome. Yes, thank you very
Awesome.
much. It looks like we do have some knowledgeable folks in the room. And it's okay if you don't know because that's why I'm here. Um, as part of Teens Reach, teens are granted a unique opportunity to connect with how the library works and even how the larger city of San Jose functions, as well as connect with other teens in their community. On our website, and the mission that we sort of follow with our Teens Reach groups is, as it's stated on the screen, Teens Reach is the youth council for the San Jose Public Library. Young people ages 13 to 17 volunteer to support library programs and events. Teens have a chance to learn how to lead and work together, get involved in their community, and serve as library advisors and advocates. This is a really unique experience for teens and something that we are very excited to have available for teens who want to get connected with their community. They get to connect with other teens and give back by helping with a variety of activities and tasks at their library branch. And so here's Teens Reach by the numbers. And these numbers were captured in fiscal year 24-25. Teen volunteers accounted for almost 75% of all volunteers at the San Jose Public Library. So that's a grand total of 1,493 teen volunteers. That's between the ages of 13 and 17, with 556 adults 18 to 54, and then 163. I realize that green is very faint. 163 adults ages 55 plus. It's understandable that adults may not number very high, given that most adults are working full time or, in fact, working multiple jobs. But regardless of their motivations and whether it's simply to complete a graduation requirement or something much more, it is incredibly commendable that so many teens have given up and continue to give up their afternoons and weekends, in addition to their schoolwork and family obligations, to volunteer with us at the library. it's incredible, these numbers that we see here. And so when we go to look at this current calendar year, so this is calendar year 2025, it is a little bit different, but we will continue to see, and there's a difference between volunteers and active volunteers. We do have still 764 active teen volunteers who have logged a grand total of 4,678 hours across the whole year of 2025. Some of the highest activities logged here are, of course, our Teens Reach meetings, which I'll go into more detail later, followed by teens who are elected board officers or additional Teens Reach advisors at their branches. And finally, it's important to acknowledge that volunteering is not just the hard work and the getting your, rolling up your sleeves and getting dirty. It's fun too, although that part is fun too. Many of our teens participate in arts and crafts programs, contributing to their social emotional growth and development and giving them that additional opportunity for connection through something fun. So we do have a wide variety of Teens Reach opportunities that allow teens to volunteer with their library, connect with it, connect with each other through a wide variety of tasks, which I will be getting into shortly. And how does Teens Reach look at the branches and how does it actually work? So on the surface, each branch of our system that includes the King Library, that will be at Teen HQ, as well as all 24 locations, almost all 24 locations of the San Jose Public Library, has one Teens Reach coordinator, typically a librarian, who oversees, manages, and recruits teen volunteers at their location. This coordinator also runs the monthly Teens Reach meeting. So each branch has a monthly Teens Reach meeting. And in addition to those monthly meetings, many coordinators are also the ones responsible for developing and hosting teen programs that may be related or unrelated to their actual monthly meetings. Teen programming looks like gaming programs, art programs, inviting outside organizations to talk about college and career pathways, etc. Many teens already know that they'll be heading to college after high school, and the same number don't really know where they're headed after high school is over. For both of these groups, it's important that our Teens Reach coordinators continue to build programming that reflects what their specific teen community wants and supports their journey from teenager to young adult, whatever that may look like. And so, as I said, each branch has one Teens Reach coordinator, and they recruit manage those teen volunteers ages 13 to 17. And each branch hosts a monthly Teens Reach meeting. And so what happens at a Teens Reach meeting? Our monthly Teens Reach meetings vary from branch to branch. As I had mentioned before, it is really up to each coordinator to build and develop programs and opportunities that reflect the need of their specific teen community. So with that in mind, meeting content varies. Some meetings are like not little, I don't want to diminish them. Their meeting content is like a business meeting that you might find in a corporate boardroom. And some meetings are really informal gatherings of teen volunteers to chat and hang out. Some meetings include an outside presentation with a community partner, while others have a craft or maybe even a game. All meetings have the same goal of creating space for teens to connect with each other and their community in a wide variety of ways. And all meetings promote a sense of community and belonging for our teen advocates. I also want to state that these meetings do build and promote community. They make space for teens to connect. This is also one of the ways teens can engage with their Teens Reach meetings and their Teens Reach groups is as a gateway to other volunteer opportunities within the city of San Jose. As librarians and as one, with the larger city organization, we are aware of all of the other volunteer opportunities that come up across the entire city of San Jose, which there are many. And we also have our Teens Reach coordinators are very keen to what is happening in their own community. And so in these meetings, we also want to connect teens with other volunteer opportunities, not just within the library, but within the greater community as well. I wanted to highlight some of our teen volunteers. So at the top, we have a group of West Valley teens decorating for Halloween at the branch. And so that's one way that the teens really connect with their local community is they work with their Teens Reach coordinator for really fun activities that are creative in a sense and really promote this sense of community at their branch. And so in this case, we might be recruiting teen volunteers to help decorate for holidays or festivals. And so in this case, this group of really fun. Teens Reach volunteers at West Valley were decorating for Halloween. On the bottom left, we have a group from Joyce Ellington. They're cleaning their We Play toys. Um, I know that Volunteer University recently had a presentation from our early education department. Our early education department has these WEE play stations at each and every branch, and those toys get used a lot. And it really does work at creating a healthy environment for little kids to grow and develop in a safe environment and through play, which play is very important at any age. And so we want to make sure that those toys that we have at our libraries are clean and safe for those kids to play with. This requires a little bit of elbow grease. And so these teens at Joyce Ellington are pitching in by cleaning those toys, and those toys get loved so much on a daily basis. We really do rely on our team volunteers to fill in these areas where it's an activity that can be done within an hour. These teens may have been coming in for a meeting and they were able to clean the toys while they were having their meeting. In the bottom right-hand corner, our teen volunteers from the Tully branch, and they're celebrating the winter holidays. I believe this was part of a holiday craft program or a holiday celebration. And teens are often employed to help with these larger branch celebrations. They set up any craft materials or setting up and preparing for the space, moving furniture, and getting people organized. And they really are integral to how the branch works. Depending on the branch that they're helping out at, it really does depend. But at the Tully branch, they have a very, very large community that they serve. And these large events that they host, the teens are really integral in how they help and support the branch. They're also there to advocate too. So they go in and they help with these, and they know that these larger events are happening. They go out into their community, they go into their neighborhoods, and they talk about, hey, there's this really fun program coming up at the Tully branch. Why don't you come with me? That word of mouth really does help to promote what it is that the library is offering to the larger community. And the teens are really important ways that the word gets out about what we offer at the library. I wanted to highlight some of the Teen Reach program spotlights throughout the system. Teens are often another way that teens get involved is they develop and present their own programs to their community. So recently, the Berryessa Teens Reach members worked together to develop a series of summer activities aligned with our summer learning system-wide program. They worked in small groups to develop different activities to host during summer learning for younger kids. And they decided that their activities were going to be STEAM focused. So that's science, technology, engineering, art, and math. The teens took on developing their activities and then hosted their activities during the summer for younger kids in the community. They made stickers at the top right. They made homemade stickers. They made tongue depressor harmonicas and then watercolor bookmarks. And each activity had a learning component as well as a creative component, all of which was developed and presented by these very intrepid, very engaged teen volunteers. And then a few other spotlights as well. Recently, the Calabasas Teens Reach group had a virtual presentation called From Awareness to Acceptance, Understanding Eating Disorders and Promoting Healthy Body Image. Teens Reach volunteers attended this virtual program to learn more about disordered eating and healthy body image. One of the ways that we engage our teens is through learning, and some of that learning is on rather sensitive topics such as this. And it's really important to foster that really safe learning environment with professionals to provide a very supportive space. Our West Valley Teens Reach group recently held an item donation drive for Home First. Home First is the county-wide shelter system for unhoused folks who are looking for places to stay temporarily. The Teens Reach volunteers there collected donated items, jackets, blankets, hygiene kits, and equipment to provide to Home First. And they've done this, I think, a number of winters in the past. And it really is a way for teens to connect with a greater purpose, to connect with something that's bigger than themselves. And they work together with their Teens Reach coordinator to find ways of giving back to their community. And this is a way for teens to also see what it's like to organize these larger drives, which they may then bring those skills to college or to their jobs. That kind of project management is a very important skill to develop, and Teens Reach is a safe place and an encouraging space to develop those skills. I want to highlight the Berryessa branch again. Berryessa Teens Reach Group had a college application and experience panel. So the Teens Reach coordinator at Berryessa actually invited graduated Teens Reach volunteers to return to the branch and talk about their recent experience with applying to college, and for some, their first year attending college. And they presented as a panel, as a discussion panel with the current Teens Reach volunteers for those teens to ask questions of teens they may have been friends with or worked with as part of the Teens Reach group at that branch, to really understand and get an idea of what that college experience is really like. What was it like applying to college? It's this big important milestone, or big milestone for a lot of people is approaching college, and the whole process of how to select a college, how to apply, how to write essays, how to obtain financial assistance. All of that is so big. And to connect with someone who just went through that experience creates, again, this safe learning environment for our teens to get comfortable with what is coming up in their lives. Um, and I really was very excited about this particular program. I thought it was a wonderful way of re-engaging those past volunteers back into the library, back to their community, to really help and reflect back what it is that they could provide to these younger teens that are looking up to them as role models for what to do next. This was a fantastic program, and they had a really good turnout too, which is really encouraging. And that is a very good segue into how Teens Reach supports teens, with the Teens Reach focusing on ages 13 to 17. That is a matter of maybe 4 to 5 years, but those 4 to 5 years are so big when it comes to looking at the development of teenagers and the development of human beings during that stage. You're going from eighth grade to high school to graduating high school, a huge amount of growth, development, functioning, learning, all of that stuff happens within that 4 to 5 year space. It makes a huge difference. And to be able to offer such an encouraging and safe and supportive environment for those teens is very is a way for the library to really stand out in our communities as a safe place for those teens. Teens Reach itself as a program sits at sort of a junction of three specific and different areas of support. And what we call, so one is we call expanded learning, for which the goal is the city, looking at the city as a classroom and building a love for lifelong learning outside of the school and outside of the classroom, or the formalized classroom. And so Teens Reach meetings cover topics that support learning in this way. So they're bringing in, they're doing activities that support learning outside of the classroom. They're bringing in organizations that support that learning outside of the classroom. And so they're bringing that learning and bringing it all throughout the day, even after the school bell goes off. And nextly, we have college and career pathways, for which the goal for that is building and supporting skill growth for teens and young adults as they move and grow from high schoolers to college students to professionals, or high schoolers to professionals. In this way, volunteering at the base, which all Teens Reach members are essentially volunteers, does provide job experience suitable for future employment and college applications. Those activities that were being developed that shows project management and communication, that shows very creative problem solving when it comes to making choices of how you want to present a topic, scaling up and scaling down, whether it's the size of a program or maybe it's the concepts themselves. You want to teach coding to, elementary school kids, but maybe you're getting kids that are a little younger. So in that moment, understanding how you can adjust, how you can change that kind of iterative thinking, even in the moment, are skills that are highly, highly sought after when it comes to succeeding in college and succeeding in a professional job setting. So on the base of it, volunteering does offer teens that suitable job experience that, maybe for some teens they don't have the ability or they don't have the time or the capacity to take on a paying job while they're in high school. Volunteering gives them that exact thing, which is that job experience. And lastly, it fits again as a segue into volunteer services itself. All teens reach meetings, satisfy volunteer hours, and lead to filling other volunteer opportunities. So the goal for, of course, volunteer services is connecting individuals to something much larger than themselves, an outward connection to the world around them, and fostering a sense of greater purpose. This volunteering aspect, while also being very practical, allows teens to find an opportunity to connect with the wider world around them. This also, as I said previously, Teens Reach meetings do offer as a gateway to other volunteer opportunities. So, in my experience as a former Teens Reach coordinator at my branch, what I would do is I would get connected with my friends of the library. I think that was another presentation that was recently done, is learning about the friends and how they function. Some friends of the library groups host large book sales. It's how they fundraise for the branch for providing program funding. When I was working at the Rose Garden Branch Library, a lot of my teens were recruited by our friends group to help with setting up books, setting up tables, putting out books and displaying them, bringing books into from boxes from one part of the building to another part of the building, setting up in the community room, and even helping with day of sales. And so we have all this opportunity and connection for teens in one specific space, which is our Teens Reach group. So, as I mentioned, our Teens Reach programs at each of the branches is spearheaded and led and developed by one staff member. And so that one staff member is a lot. It's taking on a lot. So as you can imagine, this is a lot of work for our staff to manage, along with everything else our librarians do on a day-to-day basis. And we've developed to support our staff a community of practice, which is a bi-monthly meeting where Teens Reach coordinators can share with and learn from each other. This kind of peer-to-peer sharing is ideal for supporting each other when we feel tapped out or frustrated, as well as an opportunity to celebrate our successes and achievements together. We all work at various branches of the library, and if you're aware, or not aware, maybe the city of San Jose is very large when we look at the square mileage of the city itself. Your branches are far and few between, are far away sometimes from one end of the city to the next. And it sometimes feels very isolated when you're having to work on your own and you're very focused on your own community. And so reaching out to other parts of the community, other parts of the larger city of San Jose, provides perspective. It provides support. It allows Teens Reach coordinators from Alviso to connect with Teens Reach coordinators at Almaden Branch or East Branch to coordinate with West Valley, and Allen Rock to connect with Vineland, Cambrian to connect with Rose Garden. It really offers a unique opportunity for for the Teens Reach coordinators to connect with each other. And so we also use these meetings to look at larger goals on a system-wide basis, like applying quality standards to our programming, ensuring our programs are really meeting the needs of our teens and engaging the teens as intended, and recruiting or engaging volunteers in a meaningful way. These are volunteers, and so it's an active process. It's a very active work to recruit and maintain and engage these volunteers that want to give their time to the library. Our meetings also offer professional growth for our staff, as inviting trios of branch coordinators to present on a variety of topics. working in groups is never easy. And so we want to provide a little more sort of growth and skill building with our staff so that they feel confident in when they go to present at their Teens Reach meetings, or how they can feel, how they can bring those sort of experiences to their Teens Reach meetings, and making sure that teens are supported as well by feeling supported themselves. Um, some of the topics that we have discussed and presented on include developing fun programs as a way to build social emotional skills, best practices for recruiting and engaging volunteers, especially teenagers who are sometimes very difficult to engage. Building and creating teen spaces, the physical spaces that we have at every branch. If you visited more than one branch of the San Jose Public Library, you'll notice that each branch has a teen room. That space is for teens. In many cases, that's where the young adult collection of materials is housed. And that is a space that is dedicated to our teen customers. We often find surveying teams that the library is that unique third place for many of them. They seek out the library for that space that's not home, that's not school, and for some, that's not work. That is a place for them to relax, to hang out with friends, to learn something new, to chill out, where there's no obligation to buy anything, there's no obligation to do much of anything. And this is a really important role that the library plays in our teens' lives. And then, of course, supporting teen-led programs. As I mentioned previously with our Berryessa branch, as with many of our other branches, we have very enterprising teen volunteers who who are very excited to present and bring programs to younger kids, whether that's computer programming classes, or it's a craft, or it's a certain type of topic. Maybe it's AI, or it's science and technology, or it's robotics. We have a lot of teens that are very engaged in this way, and they really want to teach and they want to connect with the younger kids in their neighborhoods this way. And so it is up to the Teens Reach coordinator to really support that desire, that drive to teach, to lead, to present to younger kids in the community. And so that's what our Teens Reach Community of Practice does. And this is how we support our staff who are working with teens, which I don't know if anyone here has experience working with teens. Teens can be very difficult, and there are some people that, connect with teens really well, some people that don't connect with teens, and have a very difficult, and it's a struggle sometimes. Teens are just like any other. Teens are looking for someone to acknowledge them. They're looking for someone to recognize that they need a little bit of space to be advocates for themselves, to take some agency for themselves, to be able to do things on their own, while also providing them the support that know that they feel safe if they fail, that there is a soft landing. Should something go wrong or something go awry and they fail, we want to give them that soft landing. And so this is a way that Teens Reach coordinators really connect with the teens in our community. And so with this, we have a very specific and a very large managerial support system for our Teens Reach coordinators. I am, of course, Michelle Clark. That's me at the top. I bring with the group a community of practice development. I was there when the community of practice was developed, integrating college and career programming support and sharing my knowledge as a former Teens Reach coordinator. But given where Teens Reach sits in our larger library program offerings, the managerial support reflects this. So we have a wide variety of people with experiences and perspectives that really come together to support all aspects of our Teens Reach program. So we do have, we each bring our own community of practice, we each bring to the community of practice a wealth of knowledge, from either firsthand Teens Reach coordinator experience to volunteer coordination and engagement, to expanded learning, and sort of programming expertise when it comes to learning outside the classroom. And then, of course, that college and career programming expertise. where we're starting to get into the nitty-gritty of ushering those teens into young adulthood. And with that, I have come to the end of my presentation. I hope that I've answered your questions about teen volunteering and teen advocacy at the library. I want to open it up to any questions.
So we did have one question in the chat, which
Mhm.
was, where are you all located? But I believe you addressed that.
I can expand a little bit more. So
Sure.
the Teens Reach meetings are at every single branch of the library. So every except it's every branch minus Mount Pleasant, which is our smallest branch. Um, we have a Teens Reach group at every single branch. So if you are working at Almaden branch, there's a Teens Reach group. If you're working at Hillview branch, there's a Teens Reach group. If you're working at Biblioteca, there's a Teens Reach group. We are everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, based on everything that you talked about, it shows just how much goes into creating a program that is fruitful and that teens will come, and it it's a program that teens get a lot out of,
Mhm.
and a lot of I feel like a lot of experts, everyone that you talked about, puts in a lot of work to ensure, that provides such a good program. Hence why I think it's so successful, and just the numbers, right? Seeing like how many volunteers you have, how many hours, etc. So yeah, I'm really impressed myself as well with everything that you talked about. Debbie added, no, your last slide suggested a managerial staff. Where are they located?
Oh,
Mm.
good question, Debbie. So, I myself am a senior librarian and branch manager at two locations. So, I am at Rose Garden and Biblioteca Latinoamericana. Megan, Lizzie, Amanda, and Robert are actually all at the King Library at our main location in downtown. So Megan is actually the senior librarian for youth services, which includes the children's room as well as Teenage Q. That's the first floor and the mezzanine at the King Library. And then Lizzie, Amanda, and Robert will work in various parts of the administrative areas of the King Library. Um, I hope that answers your question a little bit better. Thank you for the clarification.
Any other questions? Either you can unmute yourself or in the chat. Let's see. Oh, we do have one question. It says,
Mhm.
I got it in the private chat. What volunteering opportunities do you recommend teens try out?
Well, that really depends on the team themselves. As a sort of, like I said, Teens Reach tends to be kind of a gateway into other volunteer opportunities, whether that's with the library or outside the library. So my suggestion for any teen is, if they're interested in volunteering, Teens Reach is sort of the stepping point and the starting point that they can try. It's also in some cases very low stress, and kind of uh, lightweight in some ways, because they can kind of ease into the sort of volunteering aspect of things. The meetings, they can attend the meetings every month and get an idea of what the community is like and what the group is like. And then from there, they can start kind of working with the Teens Reach coordinator to figure out what they can do. Some branches have a really robust offering of teen volunteer opportunities. We do even have some virtual volunteer opportunities, which we do ask that those teens who participate in the virtual ones are also connected to a physical location as well as attending meetings. And so they're kind of a legacy from when we closed for COVID. Um, and that includes writing book reviews for our online catalog, or writing material and content for our short edition collection. Those are some of the ways, the more sort of creative, very library ways of getting connected. But teens can present their own programs. Teens can help with tidying the branch. Um, Toy cleaning at each of the branches is a sought after task. We've got You can help with if you're 15 and up. You can shelve books. You can there's a wide variety.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess to add to that, it's really based on your interest. You know, check out the the volunteer listings for your branch and see what might be available. But yeah, there's a lot of fun things for you to do. We have a question from Emma. Does Teen Reach help with book distributions, such as recommending or reviewing books?
Yeah,
Just
how
to
teens
add
can.
on how teens could help with shelving.
Oh, yes. So, actually, teens and everyone who uses the library can take on recommending books for purchasing for our collection, and that is actually through our website. We have a suggest a purchase form that anyone can do. But as advocates and sort of teen advisors for the library, teens are in a unique position to really work with the librarian at their branch to talk about the books that excite them and talk about the stories that get them really excited and really geared for either learning or entertainment, anything like that. And so they do have the ear of the librarian of that branch for recommending books. Depending on the group, if you have a very bookish group, you could have, um, a type of book club where you do book talking, which you can talk about the books that you're reading, and you get really excited about it, and you advertise it to your other Teens Reach members, and get really excited about what the books that they're reading. Um, Distributing books, I don't think so. And I'm not entirely sure book distribution of what you mean necessarily there. Uh, we have a system-wide process for bringing books to the branches. That being said, we are a very large collection, and so you're engaging with the larger system-wide collection no matter where you are in the system, whether you're at one branch or another. I hope that answers your question, Emma.
And we have one more question, which is, what is the best way to get real work experience and leadership roles through volunteering at Teens Reach?
That's a great question. Through many of the activities that Teens Reach offers, you're starting and you're getting those building blocks for the leadership experience or the leadership skills and work experience. So some of the things that I mentioned earlier about when you're helping develop a program, you're looking at from start to finish, what is the type of program that you want to develop? Who is your audience? What are the materials that you need? How much time are you going to need? Is this a one-time program or a series program? These are all decisions that you're making, and it is, in a sense, project management. You're having to coordinate with other people. You're having to coordinate with the librarian who is going to maybe work with you to secure the space that you need to host your program. You're going to work with the librarian to make sure that you get the promotional materials that you want out into the community to promote your program. You're going to be talking with stakeholders. If you need funding, a lot of that funding comes from your friends group. How do you advocate for the funding that you need for your library program if your library program requires funding? If you need equipment, special equipment, you're working with other, ways within the branch to try and secure what it is that you need for that program that you are offering. All of these skills, all of these ways that you are working with developing one program, it really is creating and building those skills that you would see in a professional setting. You have to sort of think about it in sort of broad terms, essentially. But all of what you're doing is those professional skills that you'll see in a work environment. The same thing goes with communication, being able to effectively communicate with other teens, other kids. If you're presenting a program, how is your communication? Are they learning something? Are they getting what you're talking about? When you're talking with the librarian who's helping you develop your program, is your message being received? Um, those types of skills are invaluable in a professional setting. Learning how to write professional emails. A lot of our communication from the librarian to their teens is through email. So, are you able to check your email? Are you able to write a professionally understood written email? All of these things are also leading to those workplace experiences. If you're going to be shelving, let's say, and you have to stick to a particular shift in toy cleaning too, you're going to have to learn how to manage your time. You're going to have to learn how to reach out and communicate. Again, communication. What if you miss a shift? You have to call ahead and let people know that you're going to be sick, that you're sick, you can't come. If you miss a shift, you have to, be held accountable for the fact that you missed a work shift. Those things come up as in a professional setting too. And so even though you're volunteering, you're not making any money essentially. You're not getting a paycheck. You're still building those skills. And Teens Reach really does offer, whether it's small, and you're just communicating with each other in a group setting. You're creating social emotional skills by being able to express empathy or sympathy to someone, to be able to control your own emotions, to regulate, to listen, like active listening skills, understanding what people are saying when they're talking to you. Those are all skills that you'll see in a Teens Reach meeting, Teens Reach volunteering, and teens volunteering at the library.
Beautifully said. All righty. So, any other last minute questions before we wrap up for today? Yeah, absolutely, Debbie. All of these sessions were recorded. I will send out the link. Actually, this concludes our final part of the series for the Winter Volunteer University of this season. So I will send out those links along with the survey form. So stay tuned for that. Feel free to share it with other volunteers. These sessions are geared for volunteers. So this do not share this link with anyone else. This is special for our volunteers. But thank you all for coming on the call. I want to thank you, Michelle, as well for all the knowledge, your time, and just giving us an inside look on Teens Reach and the magic behind that. Thank you so much to everyone. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.